Hello, enthusiastic minds. This is the Enthu English Podcast, and I'm your host, Claudia Wyas. As usual, it's my top of the top priorities to bring you ever closer to your goal of speaking English enthusiastically, fluently, and also happily, delightfully, confidently. Not to mention assertively as well in business communication or daily interactions. Please tune in and transfer yourself visually to your ideal learning space in part 1 of this episode, because in part 2 of this topic, we'll unlock 6 captivating ideas to redesign your learning space that sparks joy and supercharges your learning experience. Yes, that's what we want. That's what we need as learners. Before we continue, let me invite you to focus particularly on these chunks throughout the rest of the episode. There are 3 of them, not to overwhelm you too much, but feel free to go back to this episode as many times as you might need to tune in to specific chunks and take them away with you to use them in your next conversation. So here we go. Number 1. I'm going to give you a bigger chunk this time from what I'm going to share with you today. You feel a sense of comfort that instantly puts you in the mood to learn. All right, what puts you in the mood to learn? That's a general question. In general, what puts you in the mood to learn? What makes you feel like learning English? What motivates you? Number 2, let your imagination run wild. Yes, indeed. And I imagine and I truly believe that there's no stopping you when it comes to learning English. And your motivation soars up into the sky, maybe even the blue sky. Today it's totally cloudless again. Number 3, if you're up for giving your space a little tweak, a little tweak, and the expression here is if you're up for doing something. Now, maybe it's about if you're up for rethinking and redesigning your learning area. Are you up for it? Okay, so what about writing them down and keeping them handy so that you can catch them as you listen to this episode? So now, without keeping you any longer, I think that you might be itching to listen to the rest of what I'm going to share with you. I'm about to treat you to a wholesome plate of knowledge bites. Our topic today, creating a learning space that excites and energizes you, supercharges your learning experience. Please imagine the following scenario. It goes like this. You're sitting in your favorite corner of your room, surrounded by all the things that inspire and motivate you. Your desk is perfectly arranged to your liking, and the soft glow of a desk lamp illuminates your workspace, all your workspace. And the window nearby, maybe to your right, allows sunlight to stream in, to come in, throwing a warm glow on your books and notes. And the moment you walk into this space, keep making it more and more alive in your mind, you feel a sense of comfort. Wow, that instantly puts you in the mood to learn. Yes, magically, it happens, just so. Now, try to remember that time you rearranged your room just a little bit. Sorry for that. When was it? When did it happen? Just take a moment now and remember back to this event. Maybe you moved your desk to a spot where the sunlight hits just right. Or you added a small whiteboard to jot down your vocabulary, ideas. And maybe you didn't turn your room upside down, but sometimes I think the tiniest rearrangement, even the tiniest rearrangement, can make a colossal difference in the way we feel about ourselves and learning. You're listening to the Enthu English Podcast, and I'm Claudia. Here's my invitation for you to join me in a full-time conversation lesson. And what does it explore? Well, exactly the topic of how to rearrange your room so that you can cure your bad mood. And in this lesson, there's plenty of communicative grammar practice and handy phrases to use in your next conversation, either with a boss, colleague, friend, or a stranger. Back to our visualization exercise. Please take a glimpse into the learning space you find most inspiring. The one that fills you with instantly, fills you with enthusiasm. And make sure that you let your imagination run wild. Yes, and chances are you will figure out a more learning friendly environment for yourself through this visualization. It might be the first step for you. And if you're up for giving your space a little tweak, just keep in mind where you want it all to end up. What kind of end result would you expect? And now say you've already rearranged your space, yeah? So now that you have rearranged this space, even mentally, keep using your imagination heavily today. Check in with yourself. Check in with yourself. Just connect with how it feels and ask and consider these questions. Ask yourself these questions and think through them. How motivated do you feel to sit down and hit the books? Or how does it feel in your gut? What's your gut feeling? How does it feel in your body? So, how does your back respond? Is it comfy? Does it support a healthy posture? Can you easily stretch your legs? Are you getting enough sunlight? Let's remember space, and I think that might be the key takeaway from this episode. Space has the power to influence your mood as well as the ability to focus. And I think it's a dynamic we should harness for optimal learning. Of course, you cannot create perfect conditions. There might be, I think there's always some kind of distraction. The point is to minimize them, or even to let others know, let the folks know out there that, hey guys, I really need to focus now. So could you please get back to me in 2 hours? Yeah, and I will be available to pay attention to you. Just give me give me this time, these 2 hours to focus on learning. And if distractions are the ultimate issue in your case, and if you tend to get distracted by too much stuff, especially scattered around you, so more physically, you might want to get more minimalist and get it out of your way. You know the old saying, out of sight, out of mind. Also, I'm fully aware that we're all uniquely and beautifully different creatures. So you might as well embrace creative chaos, and yeah, it's possible to thrive in it. If you're one of these people, uh, then we're on the same boat. Back to the key chunks in today's episode. Did you catch them throughout the first part of this episode? What were they? Do you remember? Remember back to them. The list from the very beginning of the episode. In what context did I use them? Let's turn to some reflection questions. There's always so much more to discuss and cover. There's no learning without reflecting at least not the kind of quality that we might expect. So here are my 3 questions for you to consider. What are you taking away from this episode, from this topic on redesigning your learning space for optimal experience, intellectual experience? 2, how could rearranging your study area or your study spot improve your learning experience? How could it lead to that? Possibly, potentially. I believe there's so much potential in it. 3, what would you like to do next to further practice the new chunks? All right, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I totally could I could totally feel your presence. I think that this kind of mistake only suggests that I really want to hear from you. So think about it, please, and get back to me with your ideas, maybe, and impressions and your experience of redesigning your spaces. I encourage you to take these ideas with you as you embark on your journey to create a learning space that truly excites and energizes you. Because remember that your environment, your space, has a deep impact on your learning experience. So why not make the most of it? And it doesn't matter whether you choose minimalism or embrace this creative chaos that I mentioned. The key is to find what works best for you and your unique learning style, your unique learning preferences. I cannot stress it enough how important this space where we learn is. So, now, are you up for reorganizing your study spot? Do let me know. And please stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve deeper into practical ideas for exactly that, redesigning your learning space. Until then, keep learning, but in the way you truly enjoy. Stay enthusiastic, and let your love for English continue to grow. I look forward to our next episode together. Until next time, bye bye.